welcome to episode 16 of Geist the Sin Eater 2nd Edition, Second Chances. Uh, Good news, we appear to have gotten
Audio.
the audio fixed. Now, if I could just remember what the word audio actually is, we'd be doing good. I am trying my best not to forget basic words like some sort of Looney Tune. Alright, so let's all dive on in. Today is Friday, the 8th of December, 2023. What have you guys been doing over the last 3 days? Who wants to go first?
First, holy crap, we have a hype train to greet us off.
Yeah, we
Good
do.
to see everybody. Thank you, Void. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Also, are we broadcasting? Because I still see the intermission.
Yeah, we're broadcasting.
Refresh
Try
your...
refreshing.
Yeah, try refreshing.
I'm sorry, everyone. I am incredibly fucking stupid.
Nah.
Thank you, Lex.
That's why I work in banking.
Let's see if we can get this level 2 hype train. I want a new emoji.
I mean, that'd be nice. Waggle
All right.
eyebrows.
So, day actions. I can do those. So, day 1, I decided to, I decided to do something that didn't work. So, day 1, I decided to haunt the hospice. I decided to use my shroud power and wander about trying to find someone that's close to death that would be a better fit for the projectionist. And unfortunately, the hospice is a bust. The people in the hospice are all dying from age-related conditions, the things that the bargain couldn't fix, or which wouldn't buy the bound much time for their new life. So currently, he still thinks Susie Coleman is the better option for him.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks for the anonymous sub.
Wow. And I got it. Woo!
Yeah, you did. Okay, day 2, I decided to use the same ghost trickery. And shroud myself. Shroud my way into Kimball's to see what's going on. And, oops, I was being too loud. So within Kimball's, which is shut right now, a lot of things are happening. George McElroy, Josie's younger brother, who is the prom queen, who is my Geist, is being tasked cleaning up the aftermath, moving shelves by himself to toss masses of destroyed products in dumpsters, and to muck out dozens of pounds of quivering blue ectoplasm with a shovel, where Graham Kimball and Todd Kimball are dealing with several representatives of Cotton Security. Todd's questioned over and over regarding every detail of his supernatural experience, and the mayor is speaking with the lieutenant regarding ideas for getting Sheriff Spade to relinquish the investigation to the city police. So there's some bureaucracy there, I guess. And for day 3, I decided to... Oh, hello.
Time. Yay! Cat time.
Cat time! I would pick her up, but she would not like that. So, day 3, I decided to go down to the underworld and start socializing, and making connections and asking around about Father Calavera, who is also, well, I don't really understand, but the Six-Gun Saint. And, the Ghosts of Purgatory Junction all have a lot to say about him. He runs or ran the Sanctuary of St. Nicholas of Tolentino, the church in the River City. It's a lifeline for the desperate ghosts of the city, but since Father Calavera left for the mortal world, things have been getting a lot more difficult. He is regarded as one of the oldest ghosts left in the city, predating even Gilt Skull, that guy that we have to play nice with because he's an asshole and owns everything. And without that knowledge and power, the remaining members of the church are left wanting. Father Calavera occasionally brings a few new ghosts down from Whispering Peaks, making things even tougher. So, that was me.
Alrighty, who's next?
I suppose I'll go. So first day action. We're coaching the kids. We're getting everybody pumped for the big game that will be occurring on day 3. And then afterwards, I went and did my usual rituals. For that, we first off have the rituals go pretty well. The ghost of Susie's grandma doesn't show up because they can't take time away from Susie, and without using her ghostly influence, Susie could die at any moment. That would mean the projectionist would take the chance to make a bargain. The second day, I searched Whispering Peaks for the Six Gun Saint. I asked the local ghostly community. Lots of them have seen them. He's attempting to convince ghosts to join him and go to the underworld voluntarily. He is uncharacteristically nonviolent and reasonable for a Reaper, only taking ghosts who wish to go willingly. The Mad Undertaker has especially harsh words for him, noting that he's had to kick the Reaper out of his graveyard at least a dozen times. And lastly,
No dead people in the graveyard.
anyways, last thing is the big game. I'm coaching for the junior varsity team in our usual game every year against Whispering Peaks Prep, the rich kid school across town. And we won. We super duper won. And that's awesome. And looks really good for me trying to prove my mettle as a hockey player and coach. And hopefully that will get schools to pay attention and maybe send a scout down to take a look at me. Here's hoping. And that was me.
Alright, Ethan?
Alrighty. So, let's see here. Okay. So, first day, spent it at the Chosen Mammon and trying to see if I can convince some of them to sponsor my streams, and I was rather successful in that. Mayor Graham Kimball wasn't too particularly interested, but when my father explains, how much of an influence streaming has on youth culture and stuff like that, Pastor Ambrose chides him and throws a staple at him at Graham before agreeing to sponsor my stream. So got a bit going on there. The second day I spent in the underworld, getting an idea of what is on the dead net there, the underworld equivalent to the internet, and it's a lot of defunct websites and websites with missing links and missing images and stuff like that. I think there's probably going to be something useful there. I just need to do a bit more digging. And the last day I managed to get into the Kimball, the grocery store's computer system with the USB key that I left in the computer the last time we were there. I just needed to start looking into that a bit more thoroughly. So.
Alrighty. So, let's go ahead and dive on in now that we've got our downtime taken care of. Today is Friday, December 8th, 2023. Where are you and what are you doing?
I believe we'll have just gotten out of school, and I believe that we have a couple gallons of water I need to drop off somewhere before we head to the hospital.
Yep.
Alrighty, so you guys are going to go see D. Palmer then, huh?
Yep,
Yes.
we are going to go and see D's nuts.
So, are you going to visit her at home or the store?
I think probably for the purposes of this, we should probably meet them at home. But I suppose it's a question of why don't I just text our contact and see what they think is a good idea for this, for the drop off?
Oh, her granddaughter?
Yes. They're in the crew now, so easy to talk to them. Hell, they're getting out of school at the same time. I walk over to where they normally go, either by the buses or, you know, catch them on the way out towards their car or whatever.
Well, it's Friday, so that means there's usually a meeting of the Paranormal Society.
Well, I'm gonna swing on by and ask them where they want us to drop these off before we have our little conversation.
Alrighty. Barbara, Chloe, and the other members of the Paranormal Society are just getting just getting things started. Barbara nods when she sees the group of you walk in. And when asked, she mentions that her grandma's pretty guarded about this sort of thing. So while it's definitely business hours, uh, she wouldn't want to talk about it in the front room of her store. She's definitely not going to be at home, though.
Okay, so maybe we need to go handle the other thing first and come back. I thank them, and I guess we're heading to the hospital then.
Alrighty. So you guys want to head to the hospital, you said.
Well, I guess the question is, we presumably know where little Susie is. I assume.
Yeah, the Whispering Peaks Medical Center.
Well, I guess we're heading there first. Lex, you were roaming the halls of the hospital. Did you happen to find what room little Susie is in?
I'm assuming so.
I mean, you guys have been there, haven't you?
Yeah.
You had a conversation with the projectionist about it, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Or am I
No, we definitely
hallucinating?
Time has passed. I'm doing my best.
Alrighty, so then off to Whispering Peaks Medical Center. Just to refresh everyone's memories, the medical center is a small hospital. It's only about 3 floors. It's barely got enough space to have what you would call wings of the hospital in the first place. Mostly, there are areas of different floors sectioned off for things like burns, cancer, hospice, etc. Bigger hospitals like up in Denver would make this one look like a free clinic, but it's the best that Whispering Peaks has to offer. Susie is on the 3rd floor.
I have, for the purposes of our cover, grabbed a relatively cheap but at least decent looking pile of flowers in the Hope You Feel Good Soon variety, which we are allegedly bringing to drop off in her room.
Smart.
The medical staff always seem to get a little misty when the 3 of you come in. It's well known how sick Susie has been in the community. She's been born with this heart problem, it so it hasn't exactly been a secret, especially with the different types of fundraisers being held for her in order to help her get that transplant.
Mhm.
Uh, since in small towns, everyone knows each other anyway, so there's no real questioning about why these teenagers would come visit Susie Coleman so often at the hospital. It's not hard to get in. In the rooms, you come in and see what you normally see. She's unconscious in her bed. Uh, Hovering nearby, faded and clearly low, weak and low on essence, is the ghost of her grandmother. Perched on the foot of the bed is the projectionist, watching carefully every breath she takes. For the moment, her heart stops.
Okay, so first things first, Nathan walks in and waves hello to Susie and uses the germ sanitizer thing on his hands and goes to sit on I don't know, the table or whatever that's below the TV, where Granny Heartstopper is. And under the guise of pulling out his own granola bar, he has been making ghostly granola bars literally every night with grave goods. And he just pulls out as many as he managed to stuff in his bag to sit next to her, so that she can have something to fucking eat.
Her essence loss has been probably getting reasonably severe.
So, uh, Susie's grandmother gratefully takes the cast off food and hurriedly eats it. You can see more definition come to her ghostly form as her essence is strengthened. The projectionist doesn't move at all.
Hello.
Okay, Kenny, with Synergy 5, can I bind him into something?
I mean, I don't think that would depend on your synergy. That is just a ceremony. Uh, Give me a moment to pull that up. Hey, Jeff,
Yep.
are you, if when I give you chapter and verse, are you able to put this up on screen?
I can certainly try. It's been a minute since we've done it, but that doesn't mean I can't.
Great. Ghost Binding, page 131.
Alright. 131.
Like, I don't think he's a bad ghost, but I also don't want him taking Susie.
So ghost binding is a full-ass ceremony. It is 5 dots. And
That's a lot of XP, probably.
Do you want to toss this up on screen?
I'm
if you
working on
can?
it right now. Sorry.
I think ceremonies are 2 XP per dot.
Yeah, we'd need 10.
Yeah.
Believe I've got it here and relatively centered. I
Yeah.
can't fit all of it on screen at the same time, but I'm happy to roll down if we need more of it. So, this traps a ghost in one of its anchors. It can be used to bind vicious shades too powerful to deal with any other way, or we can use it to make anchors into mementos by doing so. basically, once you are bound into your anchor, you become a memento that we can use.
Okay.
The other thing we could look into is the ghost trap that is apparently being used to bind a Geist across town, and figure out how they did that and use that. Honestly,
That's page 129.
Which is page 129. And I am aiming in on that. But essentially, we put a trap in a place we expect a spirit to go, and the ghost will get stuck if they fail a resistance roll.
Specifically under success, it mentions that upon seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Any ghost within 10 yards of the trap must, upon seeing it, succeed on a resistance plus rank roll or become fascinated by it. Gaining the ban must stop everything to stare at the ghost trap. Blocking a ghost's line of sight removes the ban for that ghost, while destroying the trap ends the ceremony's effects immediately.
All right. So we theoretically could go find that trap, and if it's mobile, take it.
We totally could. There is another option that I don't know if we've considered before,
Which is?
and that is working a second angle while also trying to find the projectionist a different host. We could also be working on trying to find a heart transplant replacement for Susie.
The thing that I wanted to talk about today is see if we can get, and this is something I think you're going to need to do some door bashing for us today, Nathan, is figure out what the projectionist wants to come back to life for, and see if we can't simply get him to join the crew and take us as helping him doing it, instead of needing to re-inhabit a human. So what I'm hoping is we can have that happen with conversation, because otherwise we either need to go find a fix, which I had hoped to kind of poke D about before we came here, and if not, we're just going to have to beat him to death. I am prepared for that today. That was always plan C, but ideally, we don't need to do that. He is a person I would prefer not to beat the crap out of. He doesn't seem to have done anything wrong other than this.
Yeah.
And
and
agonizingly,
also,
this is a very practical way of going about the thing he wants to do, and would, in some way, be very nice for little Susie, because it would solve all of their problems.
Exactly.
Albeit, in the worst way.
also, I don't want to get in a fight with a Geist if I can avoid it.
I'm going to be straightforward. We will win this fight. I know how this fight will go and we will win, but that does not mean I want to have it. So anyways, I guess what we need to do is start here by getting the projectionist to tell us why he needs to inhabit Susie and what he is attempting to do. Is that something I can throw at you guys to try and get open? Because you are better at talking than I am.
Yeah. Are there any other, like, living people in the room with us besides Susie?
Not currently.
Okay.
I will be keeping... I have Perception 7. I'm going to be actively keeping an eye on the door, listening for people coming down the hallway to let us shut the fuck up if things are going to get us interrupted.
Excellent. Ethan, can I have you distract Susie?
Susie's not awake.
Oh, Susie's asleep. Perfect.
Yeah, I mentioned before she was unconscious.
Right. Okay, so, you can't just ask someone, like, what their goal in life is. Hold on.
Yeah,
How
yes,
do you just ask someone?
Yes, you can. You can simply go up to him and say, I noticed that this seems very important to you. What are you coming back to Earth for?
Yeah, good call. That. So, Mr. Projectionist, why why do you need this so bad? What do you need?
The projectionist turns his head towards you. The projector that replaced the mortal skull that he had in life flares to life. You can hear the film running between it, and after a few seconds later, you can see the various strips of film running around his bones begin to move. In this choppy voice, he says, "Revenge."
On whom?
Hello, Buff. Thanks for saying hi.
Hi, Buff.
The projectionist looks for at each of you in turn, at least as much as you can assume a spirit with a projector for a head is capable of it. He turns slightly on his perch, moving into a more humanoid sitting position. You were there, he says. You showed me how I died.
So on him, because he is likely dead.
Conan Doyle may be dead, but that doesn't mean that the Doyle family is dead. Yet.
To be honest, if they're in town, we'd be happy to help you with that.
I wish to end the Doyle line.
Well,
I mean, I don't think you need a body for that. You just need a crew.
we're already working to end the lives of those who have wronged members of this crew and the local dead.
Can I roll persuasion with presence for and de-escalation?
Yeah, at a -3.
Okay. Presence, persuasion, de-escalation, -3. 3 successes.
The projectionist seems to take a moment to consider your words. Then, after a few minutes of thinking, he replies, I don't need a host to kill a mortal, but I need a host to find one. If you find the Doyle descendant and bring them here so I can kill them, then I will agree to leave the child alone.
We can't kill anyone in a hospital.
You don't have to help. You only have to bring them here.
Right, but if they're here when you try to kill them, there's medical professionals everywhere that can save them. It would be fruitless. We would have to do it elsewhere.
The projectionist cocks his head and says, I was not aware doctors could sew a head back on.
Heads don't typically fall off by themselves, so there would probably be, a lot of issue with that.
You hear the sound of metal scratching and scratching at the bed. The metal joints intertwined with the bones of his hands move forward, folding out into sharp, rusty claws. You can see ectoplasm begin to form around him and take shape as he partially manifests, just enough to scratch deep into the bed frame.
So, you just want a body to find them? I've got something better than a body for finding them. I've got a professional investigator and a professional historian. And we are already researching the Doyles.
Bring me the Doyle descendant, and I'll leave the child alone. Once they're here, do not interfere. I've seen that you seem to value the lives of mortals.
We do, but we also value your life. So we'll
I
bring
don't
some.
have one.
You do. You're
Your
still here.
afterlife, perhaps.
We value your well-being. How about that?
I open up my phone and text the two in question. Do we know anything about the kids of that Doyle guy who killed everyone? Have we figured out what happened to them?
Alrighty. So who are you going to be getting in contact with here? I think I have an idea. Oh, thank you, Money Game.
Thank you, Money Game.
But I think I have an idea, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
So
who do you want to text?
Whoa, thank you. So my research...
Ooh, we did. We reached our new bits goal. Thanks you very much.
Thank you. We've reached our new goal. Woo! So, I'm gonna move us back to our normal stuff, because I think we've had Ghost Trap up long enough.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, I have two people that are big in the research around here. Our historian and our newspaper person, Myrtle, and God fucking help me with his name. Somebody
Brad Ripley?
Mr. Ripley, yes. Believe it or not, that's who I want to contact. I don't think anyone else is going to be super awesome right away on that, though I might be corrected about that. But we are trying... I believe we've already done a little research into these families, so I want to see if we can't figure out what happened to Mr. Conan Doyle, if he had a kid, if that kid is anywhere near here.
Alright. I believe I've given you the character sheets for Myrtle and Fred Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't I?
I believe at least Myrtle, and yes, Fred Ripley.
Alright, who wants to roll for who?
Pulling them up as we speak.
I'll roll for Myrtle. Unless you want to, Tibbs. You feeling lucky? No.
All right, I will then.
Okay.
No, for Ripley then.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not feeling lucky today.
Myrtle Flynn, let's go.
Alright, so you've texted Fred and Myrtle, and they're aware of what you're looking into.
Mm-hmm.
So, take a look over Fred's character sheet. He has some merits that might be useful.
So I've got encyclopedic knowledge academics and investigative aid academics and contacts historians, all of which I think are extremely valid uses for this.
He also has a specialty in local history and cold cases.
So would this be an academics or an investigation role? I feel like academics, because this is going through old papers.
I believe you could justify either one.
So I think I'm going to swing down the academics tree, and probably Myrtle's better at investigation if I'm going to stab in the dark.
Myrtle's much better at investigation. She has 0 academics.
So why don't you swing at the investigation side of it, and I'll swing at the academics, and somewhere in there, hopefully we will get answers.
All right. Can I use wits plus investigation?
Sure. That makes sense here. And Myrtle also has merits that might be useful here. For one, library investigation.
What does that do? Does that give me extra dice?
A library gives you extra dice per dots in library you have.
Okay. And then does trained observer help?
Not for this sort of thing, no.
Okay. So 4, 8. Them roll. Let them dice roll.
An extended roll involving the skill in question add the dots in this merit. So, do you guys want to split up the investigation or the research here? Or are you both going to be looking for the same thing and trying to race for it?
I think splitting up the investigation sounds like what we're trying to do. Just trying to help each other. We've got a group chat open.
All right, then who's looking for what?
I guess the academics is going to be going through old papers, and that's probably going to find us our identity, and then the research could figure out where the fuck that person is.
Yeah.
Maybe
investigation
could find where that person is.
That makes perfect sense to me.
I need 10 seconds to change my battery.
All right, so then I guess our historian Fred Ripley's rolling first. So this is going to be an extended roll with every roll being 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. He chose... So investigative aid means he achieves exceptional success on 3 instead of 5. Clues from that skill start with an additional element, but I don't believe that's relevant for that. So, okay, that doesn't help, but I believe...
Well, the exceptional success helps.
Okay. And the other one was contacts historians, which would obviously be useful here. Organization, gathering information via contacts requires blah, blah. So that's a backup if we can't get answers the other way. Looks like. All right.
And he also has the encyclopedic knowledge of academics. Hold on a moment. I believe that's in the base World of Darkness book. Give me a second now. Well, Chronicles of Darkness. And I'll get it for you.
Encyclopedic knowledge, choose a skill due to immersion in academia, blah, blah, blah. You can make an intelligence plus wits roll at any time your character is dealing with their area of interest. On a successful roll, the storyteller must give a relevant fact or detail about the issue at hand. So this is a quick thing rather than doing a long-term research, so it's not useful in this particular instance.
Or you could make an additional roll for a bonus factoid to see if it would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, regardless, you've got the terms for your extended roll, and it's going to need 10 successes to track down the history and trace the history of the Doyle family.
Is that
To
together
current
or
day.
his?
That's his.
Okay.
Can I do an encyclopedic knowledge occult roll to give them a bonus starting point or something? I don't know.
You have encyclopedic knowledge for occult?
Yes.
Well, that's an interesting thing to take.
That's roll intelligence plus wits.
I'm going to be back in like 45 seconds.
All right, you said it just raw intelligence plus wits?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you had you found the merit. What page is it on?
Hold on.
I was asking Jeff because he just quoted it.
Encyclopedic knowledge, that is on page 44 of Chronicles of Darkness.
Okay, let me get that pulled up here. Chronicles of Darkness. Chronicles of Darkness. Not Dark Eras. No, that's Requiem. Sorry. Give me a second. Okay. You make a wits plus intelligence plus wits roll anytime your character is dealing with her area of interest. On a successful roll, the storyteller must give a relevant fact or detail about the issue at hand. Your character knows this fact, but must explain it within the scope of your character's background, why she knows it. For example, encyclopedic knowledge medicine. Do you remember that time uh, on that show when the doctor said it doesn't manifest before puberty? Da, 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 da.
So your obsession with the occult and your research would be where you would be pulling
Mhm.
this stuff from, and honestly, you know, researching the all the people who supposedly died in one of the biggest unexplained incidents in Whispering Peaks doesn't seem hard to pull from a cult.
Yeah.
If you want to make the roll, go ahead.
Alrighty. 3 successes.
All right. A relevant factoid about the Doyle family that you would know from your occult researches.
Mhm.
Well, ever since the name came up, you've taken a look around and you know for a fact that there are no Doyles in Whispering Peaks and haven't been in decades. At least no one with that last name.
Okay.
All right. So,
Okay. So, all right. All right. So, all right. So, been looking around regarding that name, the Doyles, and there's none in town. But maybe if we look down the line of like maiden names, we might be able to find something. So we're looking for a woman being the starting point of the branch.
alternately, there might be name change paperwork
Yeah.
somewhere there. So one of those might be a good place to look. All right. So I'm gonna have our researcher take some big swings. Um. All right. So that's 3 successes, which is a exceptional success for his first roll.
Give me just a quick second. I'm going to take a moment and see what an exceptional success gets you for that.
I'm not sure it's relevant, honestly, but you know.
Choose one. Reduce the number of successes required by your character's skill dots, reduce the time on each following roll by a quarter, or apply the exceptional success result of the action when you complete your goal.
I'm gonna swing with reduce it by skill dots because that brings us down from, you said, I think 10
Yes.
to 6, which means I could take this out in one more swing and potentially get another result that lets us get the exceptional success result.
Also, I would like everyone to note that please note that it is cat time.
Yay.
Cat time! Woo!
All right. And take another big swing, and once again another successful big swing.
Well done.
All right, well, that's enough to get you to the 6. So, I assume that you're going to want the last Benny of the exceptional success.
If that's all right.
All right. So, Fred Ripley spends half an hour poring over every document in his personal library with the history of Whispering Peaks, until finally he finds some information that he can cross-reference with with historic documents on the internet. Conan Doyle moved out of Whispering Peaks 3 years after the Hollywood gassings. And he was found to have moved to Dallas, Texas, where he had a
Okay.
daughter by the name of Pamela Doyle.
So what do we know about Pamela Doyle?
Maybe it's time for the investigator to make some rolls then.
Yeah.
My turn.
Found-
All right.
So I look up from the phone, having been working with Fred this whole time, and say, all right, we found the person you're asking for. We know her name, and we just need to figure out where she is. Her name is Pamela Doyle. Or at least
Now
it
we're
was.
Now Pamela Doyle, just to as an out of character thing for you guys, the Hollywood gassings took place in the 30s. So we're talking about someone born probably in the late 30s, early 40s.
This is somebody nearly 100 years old, possibly their kid.
And or grandchild or great grandchild, but it's a starting point. All right, so I was going to inflict the same terms as before, so
Oh, sorry. I thought we had. I had
no,
this written up. I apologize.
no, that's fine. I was going to say 10 successes, 15 minutes per roll.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
was there a difficulty roll on that? Because I see you did a -3 for difficulty.
He told me it was wits plus investigation plus library -3 for difficulty.
My apologies, I must have missed that. I'm looking over a lot of stuff right now.
anyway, that's 5, an exceptional success. So do you want to reduce the number of successes required by your skill dots, reduce the time on each following roll by a quarter, or apply the exceptional success results of the action when you complete your goal?
What do you guys think? Because I'm currently
Exceptional
leaning toward.
success.
That's what I was thinking.
The more information we have, the better, especially because this
Yeah.
is the sharp end of the stick for us.
Yeah. All right. So I would like to apply the exceptional success at the end of the roll.
All right, make another roll.
2. All right. So that's 7.
You need 3 more successes.
Cross your fingers, guys. 4.
All right, an hour and 15 minutes total is how long this investigation took for you guys.
We have the
Oh.
best crew.
All right, Myrtle Flynn is able to pick up where Fred Ripley leaves off.
Thank
Since
you.
his expert. Thank you very
Hold
much.
What?
Lex, reroll. Reroll that last one. Oh.
Money game, I might murder you. You will need a fucking Geist.
All right, reroll.
Oh. Damn. All right. One more.
Right.
There we go.
Still pass it.
So hour and a
may-
half.
Hour and
I
a
don't
half.
care. It's your. It's.
No.
Looking right at you.
I
This
did
is on
not.
you.
I said for him to make it interesting. I didn't say when to apply it. Okay. That. Don't put this on me.
Penalties make it interesting.
That's fair.
Anyway, since it took you an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Myrtle takes the jumping off point of Dallas, Texas, and a Pamela Doyle, and goes from there.
Got that.
With a name and a city it's not too difficult to look up birth records and trace ancestry. Uh, Once in Dallas, the Doyle family name petered out because Conan Doyle only ever had one daughter. But the bloodline continued, even if the name had petered out.
Mm-hmm.
And Myrtle's investigation leads to something surprising. The bloodline is back in Whispering Peaks as of a few months ago. The Doyle descendants, who, after Pamela, tended to be daughters, eventually married into a old law enforcement family called the Spades.
Ah,
Sheriff Sam Spade is one of those descendants, and his son Derek goes to your school. And
So
that's what Myrtle informs you.
So we should bring in the father, right?
Ask the projectionist.
He wants the line to end. If we bring in the father, there's still the son. We have to bring in both.
Hibbs, shut up.
we haven't spoken any of this aloud. All right, so, we've done some research. We know the man in question, and he's going to be very difficult to get to show up here. Because he is an officer of the law, he needs to go where crime's happening. He's not going to be showing up to a random hospital. It'll be very difficult to get him to come here. But he has been on a certain set of investigations. And we know where those are going to be taking place. You would be able to very easily intercept him there.
All right, is this something that you're saying to the projectionist, or are you talking to each other?
I was pitching this to the fam before we brought it up to the projectionist. What do you think? We try and get him to agree to come to a place outside of here to go after Sam Spade? After all, it's the descendant he wants, presumably.
Okay.
Or
I mean,
do we
we can
want
see.
or do we want to just beat this guy up and make him leave? Because we could also do that.
Let's start with trying to get him to leave first.
Well,
All right.
So let's see if we can't talk him into pursuing this now that he has the information. Because what he said is he needed it to find them. They're here. He doesn't need that help anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Can I roll at it?
All right, you're going to try to convince him?
Yeah.
I think this is actually going to straight up need to be social combat. So he's got 3 doors, and he does have an excellent impression of you. So that means you can roll once per round.
I also have sympathetic, which, hold on, I believe gives me extra doors. Once per social maneuver, you can opt to become leveraged or take on another relevant condition to immediately eliminate 2 of the subject's doors.
so do you know what leveraged means?
And if your character's burden is bereaved, which it is, the subject gains the same condition directed at you.
So let's talk about leverage before we move on with that, because that would be the most sensible condition probably for this circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, leverage. The character has been blackmailed, tricked, convinced, or otherwise leveraged into doing what another person wishes. Note this condition as leveraged character. You may have leveraged multiple times for different characters. Anytime this character requests something of yours, you may shed this condition if your character does as requested without rolling to resist.
Okay.
All right, and remember, from what you said about your bereaved burden, this would also put the leveraged condition on the projectionist.
So you
Yeah.
guys would have mutual debts to pay off.
Mm-hmm. Is that okay? Are you guys cool with that?
That is a character decision. If you are ready
Yeah.
to have to do whatever this guy says, go for
Yeah.
it. It's a
It's
free
worth
door
it.
if you're up for it.
I think it's worth it. I also have. Hold on. I also have Reconciler at 2 dots. Your character is an expert at bringing closure to issues and making amends. When undertaking a social maneuver to right a wrong or broker peace, remove a number of doors equal to her dots in this merit. If your character's burden is kindly, which it is not. Okay, So basically, if I take the leverage condition and he takes the leverage condition, right now there's no doors.
You know what? I would normally not allow you to use both of those, but considering what you're asking for him, he would almost certainly agree. So I'm going to agree that all the doors would be immediately removed if you decide to use both those merits.
I don't think it's a bad idea, do you guys?
That's up to you. Just know that you are setting up possibly a child and a cop for murder. Listen, there isn't really a good. We're either fighting this guy or this is happening, or you are going to do a far larger scale social combat to convince him that killing a random person who's vaguely related to a person that pissed him off isn't fair. Those are your two swings. Take one or the other.
No, that's a bread sandwich. Let's just do it.
Listen, people are going to die in this thing, and I don't know what to do about it. I either need to just punch this guy and make this stop, or we need to accept he's going to go do something awful.
I'm fine. Let's do it. I'm going to reconcile with him and be incredibly sympathetic. I'm going to say, hey, man, look. This little girl is a fucking amazing Girl Scout, and all she wants to do is go camping and have cookies and get a new heart. And her grandmother's sitting over here, wasting away, following her around every minute of every day. You could just leave this room and go do what you want to do. They don't have to be a part of this.
The projectionist responds, looking between the three of you, having watched you huddle over your phones for the last hour and a half. Did you find the Doyle descendant?
We did.
Bring them to me.
You have to go to them.
You asked to find them. We know where they are. We can tell you who they are. That's what you asked for. That's what you needed a body for. You're fully capable of taking care of this problem on your own. He is, in fact, a very easy person to find. His name is Sam Spade, and he's one of the major cops in this area.
And this is the latest descendant. Killing him will end the line.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to try to trick him. Oh, hey, thank you, Ziki. Thank you very much for the follow-up.
Will it not end the line?
No, he has a child. He's asking who's the youngest descendant.
I thought that's what we were giving him.
No, we would be telling him the kid's name.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were doing.
I was...
Sam Spade is the sheriff. He is not
Oh.
a child.
Alright, what's the kid's name again?
Derek Spade. He is sorry, looking at my notes. He is one of your classmates, vice president of the ski club.
He can't be one of our classmates. Our classmates are all dead.
No, we have new classmates.
We have got moved into new classes, hon.
Yeah. And if you remember, there was an A class and a B class, and the A class got taken out except for us.
So we're in
So
B
there's still a
class
B
now.
Yeah.
So,
That's fine.
wait,
He's in B class. It doesn't matter.
Oh, wait, not only that, he's the head of the ski club. He is almost certainly an asshole.
Vice
Not just
president,
that
but
way.
yes.
I'm just saying, I also have seen Better Off Dead, like, you know.
Okay.
No, nobody's coming with me on that one. Okay. Anyways,
I giggled.
so, with that, can I ask one further question? A thing I would know from my research? What precisely is the relational connection between, this kid and the person who wronged him?
Conan Doyle would be the great-grandfather.
Okay. So, I guess the straightforward question I have is... So, straightforwardly, what do you really expect to get out of this, since Conan Doyle is long since dead?
The projectionist unfolds to his full height. The Geist taking up the bulk of the room. You can see the film strips running between his bones at an even faster rate as he begins to splice words together. I want to end the Doyle line. I want to kill the most recent descendants. I want to eat their ghosts. And then I want to go to the underworld and tell Conan that I did to him what he did to me.
Well,
And then I will eat him too.
Well, his line has already ended. It's not the
Doyles are all
line.
gone.
It's the Spade line now. It's a completely different lineage.
In fact, he did not manage to produce a single Doyle. There is no one with that name anymore. His line has been scattered among the four winds. But we could absolutely find you Conan Doyle's ghost. That's no problem.
And
Someone roll me a chance die, please. We're going to see whether he is offended by the proposition that the name means that the name being gone means the line is over.
can I roll with intelligence plus occult to start explaining the significance of names?
If he's offended,
Okay.
All right, who's rolling the chance die?
It's my fault, so I'll take it.
All right. Don't fuck it up.
It's a chance die.
Oh. Hold on. Oh, wait, we said I can't do that. Never mind.
Willpower.
Yeah, willpower.
At the very least, that's a normal variety of success. I mean, a normal variety of failure rather than a 1.
Yeah.
do you take me for a fool? A family line doesn't end when a name is subsumed. Blood is what matters.
Okay.
All right, now do you want to roll to try to convince him about names?
Yeah.
He's mad, so take a -2.
Is there a penalty? Yeah. Okay. 2 successes.
All right, what are you going to say to him?
Uh, I, let me think here. Okay.
Could I suggest something out of character real quick?
Hmm.
That name is the tie back to their family history. You could guarantee that neither of the Spades has any idea who this man is.
Yeah. So, there's two things about names. They can be used to invoke to invoke powerful things. And without knowing those names, you can't do that. The Doyle name is forgotten. Conan's name is forgotten. He cannot be invoked. He cannot be. No ritual will be able to bring him to the surface. He has died. And then with his name being forgotten, he has died again. You can give him the final third death.
And I intend to after I end his family line.
It already has. Blood doesn't mean anything. There's a there's a bit of symbolism behind it, sure. But without knowing the lineage of that blood, it's useless.
Why do you protect this mortal, says the projectionist. You were willing to give me their life until you found out who they were.
Mm-hmm. The cop? We'll bring you the cop. It's the kid that we take issue with.
Regardless.
The Doyle man has reproduced, you say?
No. The Spade man has reproduced.
It's a great
names.
great grandson who doesn't know Conan Doyle. None of these people understand their connection to this town's history. Which is why we're wondering, because I honestly don't see the benefit.
The sin is passed through the blood. They are corrupted.
Hold on. Okay, we just did all of this research. That great-grandfather, you said great or great-great?
Great.
Yeah, I said great, but I think you'd probably be right that it would be great.
So great-great-great-grandfather, father, son. That's 5 generations. You can't tell me 5 generations throughout all of this, someone has not been harmed badly enough to need blood transfusions.
Not to mention, it's every single one of those has changed family lines as well. Additionally, there's one other thing. We actually have somebody to quote chapter and verse on this. Could you please ask the prom queen to come have this conversation? Because the son of her parents, son of the people who killed her, is in this room.
Yeah, hey, Josie. Oh, shit. No, I did not say that out loud. Hey, prom queen, you got a sec?
You don't want to try to get, you don't want her to get upset, I take it?
No.
But I'm saying, like, if anyone's going to be able to have this conversation, it's somebody who has that exact same problem. And, well, Ethan is in the room.
All right. Let's see. I think that, first off, you can just give me what Prom Queen is going to say. Second off, I think that this is going to be an opposed roll, with the Prom Queen taking a -3 penalty. So, rank plus finesse versus the projectionist's rank plus resistance.
You said minus how many?
-3.
Okay. So, prom queen basically tells him he's a moron, but nicely because she's a nice person.
And explains
that-
your own situation, I assume.
The sins of the father are not the sins of the son. We break generational trauma around here.
Something, I listen to.
Can I willpower for her?
Yes.
We have the same body, so she can use my willpower.
You mean our willpower?
Yeah.
All right. So that's what you've got. 1 success. So everything rides on the projectionist failing this roll.
Come on, you guys in chat, get your re-rolls ready in case Kenny passes this roll.
All right. Here we go.
No! Make him re-roll. Please, guys, make him re-roll. Can I spend mine on this one?
I am
Come on.
absolutely not letting you players actually make a re-roll.
Why?
You can spend it, sure.
You guys out in channel points. Just click it. It's the 1,500 point reward for a re-roll. Please. Please. I'm begging.
See, okay, what?
10.
Oh wait, it's only 1,000 points. Come on.
Watch what happens when
Money game, I swear to God.
watch what happens when I spend my reroll. Kenny, how do you react to me spending a reroll?
I
Oh,
said I
that's-
wasn't going to let you do it
Oh,
because you're a player.
Money game, do you just hate us?
It's alright. Anyways, so, I did forget to ask something. Fairly straightforward.
Mhm.
What was the die roll on this?
Finesse plus rank minus difficulty.
So that would map to, like, manipulation, plus synergy here? Or on,
Yeah.
on a person trying to assist them?
I'm not going to let you assist after they failed. Time to ask about that would have been before the roll was made.
Fair enough. Worth trying.
Alright, fine. But you gotta come to school with me.
The projectionist slams their hand on the wall, phasing through it briefly. You were willing to give me their lives until you found out who they were. You've chosen to take the side of the living over the dead.
Very well. Then we will give you their name and bring you there. I just wish to understand what you wanted, because I didn't get it. I thought you would want vengeance directly on those who had harmed you, rather than some unrelated stranger. I didn't realize how simply far down the generational ties it was. It was surprising to me.
Conan's life has ended. No revenge can truly be taken on the dead.
I beg to differ.
Have you seen the Leviathan?
I was going to offer some very truly awful results if you wanted. I could
Have
bind
you ever
him.
taken a little vacation to the Ocean of Fragments?
We could destroy his self entirely and dip him into the ocean of fragments. Or I could bind him forever into an anchor we had chosen for him, and you could enjoy the look of him screaming inside his eternal prison for as long as you should wish.
Actually, I'm going to have him roll a chance die on that to see if the idea has gotten him interested.
Come on. I've got everything crossed.
Could I actually... Can I swing that one, like, properly? Could we, like, actually swing that one?
All right, so you want to try to make a persuasion roll?
Yeah. So...
He is not happy with you now. That will be at a -3, please.
Okay. So presence, persuasion, de-escalation.
Or manipulation.
Okay. What do you guys have for presence plus persuasion?
I have a 1 die, but I'm going to swing it anyways because I have a willpower and God loves me. Actually, you know what? No, fuck you. Actually, presence is power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Presence is power. I have be aggressive, and I am going to call upon my power. So just a second. I need to make like 2 rolls real quick. Sorry. So I'm going to call on the call. I succeed. I have the call. I replaced my stat for this roll with power. So that's going to be a 6 minus 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8 dice to help. All right, 3 dice. That's the best I can do for you.
That's fine. Tibbs?
Sure, let's
Great.
do the same. So for the call.
God damn it, we're bashing as hard as we can on this one. I think this is actually a good idea. Because, you know what, I'm actually very much in favor of torturing the fuck out of Conan Doyle. We're all in favor here. So that was the call. So,
And then
You said minus how many, Kenny?
3.
-3.
So power plus persuasion minus 3.
Okay.
Presence plus persuasion minus 3.
Well, he's using the call, so it's power.
Oh, okay.
He's using the power stat of Meathead.
Meathead.
Oh, okay. That wasn't his. That was his. Okay. Okay. So I have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Minus 3 is 13.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Save that willpower for the reroll.
Yep.
We've been...
Exceptional success with 8.
All right, let's see if
I would like to actually pitch this. There are so many worse things we could do to his eternal soul than having you murder a child who has no idea who that man is.
all right, roll. The projectionist screeches in frustration and rage. You can see the film get caught in his reels. Winding around his bones, causing him to trip. With another ghastly wail, he dives through the wall of the hospital and is gone.
So, we convinced him? By the way, Bind Ghost is the thing that we have been saving up crew XP for.
Yeah.
It's actually always been on the plans. I believe I mentioned this a long time ago. It's just been a very slow accumulation because we get like two beats a session.
3, but yeah.
I mean, if you want to find out how he actually feels, you could follow him to continue this conversation.
Ghost person, could you do that?
Sure, I'll follow him. Prom Queen and I walk through the wall.
You're gonna use the shroud?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Alright. What's your rating in the shroud, by the way?
1.
Okay, so that means you can't fly or anything with the shroud,
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
I have it in the Nathan Cartwright channel. It is a success. The Sin Eater coats himself with a thin layer of plasm containing the essence of his Geist. Gains the Shroud condition with a number of charges equal to the plasm spent. So I need to roll Synergy plus Shroud real quick.
Alright. And with just one, all you can do is enter Twilight.
I failed.
Well, do you have any willpower left?
Oh yeah. All of it.
Can we pull the dice away from Lex for the rest of the night?
Yeah, I'm not taking any chance dice tonight.
The Twilight says no, apparently.
Yep, you simply cannot get the plasm to work with you here.
All right. Well,
So
he went down.
he dove through the wall. So yes, in a very real way, he definitely went down.
Well, we need to leave the hospital anyway, so we see if we can't figure out where he went by simply moving through the hospital to areas that we are still allowed to be in.
All right. Are you guys gonna all go?
I think I'm gonna stay here for a little bit in case he comes back.
We'll text you in case. Also, could you have a quick chat with Granny Heartstarper, make sure she's okay?
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, are Nathan and Ty both going?
I think that's for the best.
All right. Chase rules then. Time for a chase.
By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, but I did spend 3 plasm on the call condition, so that is still present if I need it.
Alrighty.
I thought
Alright,
we might have a longer argument.
Since the projectionist is the one who dove through the wall and ran, then he has the edge for this first section of the chase.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he gets to set the terms. Alright. Then for the mere mortals, this will be a dexterity plus athletics roll.
Okay. I can do that.
Alrighty. And if you get to 5, well, let's make it 10 successes, then you catch up to him. Take a drink, everybody. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you, Rosie.
Alright, opening up, the projectionist fails his roll.
1.
Sorry, I've got so many things I'm trying to swing through. Alright, so, I don't want to make the arguments necessary to get me my results in hockey, and I don't think we're outside. So this is just going to be a solid 6 dice.
Alright. Alright, so of 10 successes, you both got 1 and the projectionist got 0. Which one of you wants the edge?
Jeff.
I'll take the edge.
You've got 6 dice in your pool, and I've only got 4.
All right, so
I think he's got the right sort of idea. But the thing
maybe
is,
you should wait until we finish describing what this happened, and then you can set the terms of the chase.
my apologies.
So, the projectionist dived through the wall. Nathan and Ty moved to follow. Not by diving through the window or the wall, but by heading downstairs. Running through the hallways of the hospital and towards the stairway, the 2 Sin Eaters managed to catch sight of the projectionist in the parking lot. His film has caught all around the bones of his legs and arms, tripping him up as he tries to move. He takes a moment to snap the film entirely, causing it to sputter out of control from the reels, and heads for town. All right, you can set the terms of the chase since you have the edge.
All right. Well, you see, we're heading onto a straightaway. There's not a lot of time for, like, dexterous movement or stuff. It's just a matter of sheer, raw physical ability. And to me, that looks like athletics plus stamina. By the way, it's pretty winter out here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, well, not always winter, but it's usually pretty cold here in Colorado.
Would you tell me that there is snow beside the road?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. I kick on my ghostly boots and step onto the snow. I am now ice skating across the surface of the snow beside the road, which means that I can call in my talents for hockey to keep up with him. So I will be swinging stamina plus athletics plus hockey.
All right, and that would leave him with his resistance.
Sorry, this has absolutely fucked you to Nathan, but I figure only one of us needs to keep up with him. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Nathan weighs like 90 pounds soaking wet.
You can probably just climb on my back.
Yeah.
We have, on multiple occasions, just said, and yeah, I picked Nathan up. You weigh less than my hockey gear.
Yeah. And honestly, if we need that last little spurt, you can always throw me.
You ready to make a roll?
I did.
Not you, the other person.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Do I need a roll for jumping onto him?
I think Lex is bailing.
It has. Oh, so you're leaving the chase?
I thought I was jumping onto Jeff. Or onto Ty's backpack.
So you're no longer participating, is what he's saying. Like, you're no longer chasing on your own.
Mechanically, yes, they're leaving the chase.
Oh, okay.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So that means he's got 1 success, you've got 7, and since you've got an exceptional success, that means that you can subject him to the terms of a failed roll, which we haven't actually set. So, would you rather that he get a tilt or lose a success?
Help.
Tilt.
All right, well, let's see what would be appropriate here.
Leg rack?
That's what I was thinking. All right. leg rack. The film running through his leg bones snags again, causing him to trip over his own leg after he manages to pull his body out of the ground, having gone through it, and managed to find his equilibrium running on the surface of the ground again. He notices that you've gained a lot of ground on him. All right, so you get to set the terms of the chase again.
Ain't broke, don't fix it. Doing it again.
Do it.
All right, and the projectionist takes a -2, so he's rolling at a 5.
4 successes. I believe this will bring me to victory if he doesn't also meet victory.
Yeah, you are at victory. You have caught up with him.
I'm not interested in stopping him. I am keeping pace with him. I just want to know what he's doing. Because our conversation didn't end, and I wanted to see what he needed help with. We had still agreed to help him either way.
The projectionist takes a few moments to look behind him, apparently expecting to be attacked. When you don't attack him, he continues running. However, at this point, he is very much at the end of his ghostly stamina, so he's not difficult to keep pace with. Every so often, he sends out some tendrils of film along the ground, and having apparently received some information, he changes his course.
So, where are we going, George?
He doesn't respond to you, but he does take you with him silently. Not saying a word or attempting to attack you as you follow. You find yourselves running at speed into the town square, near where the ski lift takes people up to the Cotton Winter Resort. Here, you can see the handful of Whispering Peaks High students that make up the ski club. Derek Spade is the VP, and someone that you haven't actually gotten to spend much time with in class. The only things that you know about him that stick out, other than his parentage, are that he was I gave you the names of the kids that set off the supernatural detector, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was one of them.
Fuck.
Listen, man, we haven't been able to follow every fucking lead. We're working on it.
I was just saying that you would know that, so I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a large kid, not nearly as big as you, but still large, with close-cropped hair. He's standing next to the president of the ski club, Jasmine Santana, and they're apparently telling jokes or something because they're laughing. The projectionist hunches down on all fours, his red silk vest flapping in the wind at the sight. He turns to you. I can taste memories of his father. This would be the Doyle descendant?
Yep. It's the one you asked about. I promised to help you regardless. I just wanted to make sure I knew what you wanted.
The projectionist walks gingerly above the snow, sneaking slowly up to the ski club. He sidles up behind Derek Spade. The film in his reels has long since tattered, and the voices that he is able to summon in order to speak are extremely distorted. You said he would not remember Conan Doyle.
Would you like me to ask him about it?
Make a perception roll, please. Both of you who are here.
That's wits plus composure, correct?
That's the one.
Three successes.
4 successes.
You notice when after the projectionist starts speaking, Derek Spade starts looking around immediately. He doesn't seem to understand where it's coming from, but he seems to hear a voice. He turns around and notices Ty and Nathan standing nearby. Did one of you say something about Conan Doyle?
Who's Conan Doyle?
Derek looks down in sheepish embarrassment, scratching at the back of his head. Well, he was my great-granddad. That's why I was weirded out when I heard someone talking about him.
What do you know about him?
The projectionist prowls around Derek Spade. His film flapping around him in tatters like bandages. Tell them about your grandfather, your great-great-grandfather. Derek Spade moves his head around again, looking for the source of his voice, but seems to shrug it off. He's like, well, I know that he ran a theater in Dallas, and I know that he moved after, well, his dad, my great-great-great-grandfather, did something pretty gnarly.
Huh.
It kind of ruined his life. His fiance left him. And then there was the gassings in the theater back in the 30s. Between the two of them, that ruined his career there, where he worked as an usher. He left the city a couple years later. Basically, his entire life was in shambles.
Wow, so, like, everything went really downhill for him then, huh? Sorry to hear that.
He nodded and says, and that's about it. He was dead way before I was born. He died in like the 70s.
Huh. So you basically don't know much other than, like, that he existed.
Well, my dad got to meet him a little bit, so I've got pictures of him with my dad when he was little. But yeah, uh, that's all I really know.
I turn to the projectionist. I offer out my hands. It's his decision at this point.
It's cool that your father and your grandfather told you what awful things he did, though.
Normal families
Don't
cover that kind of stuff up.
you mean Conan's dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, kind of hard not to when everyone knows that he ran the fucking murder hotel.
Fair enough.
When we moved back here, I got a very serious talk. I'm not allowed to go there. Ever.
The murder hotel?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The
I saw some
Castle of the
pictures.
Macabre.
I haven't been there. I want to go, though, but they have pictures of it up at Ripley's.
Yeah, I've been to the museum, he says, stroking his nose. I got a little curious after Dad told me about our family history with this town. That's why he wanted to move here when he got the call about joining the uh, sheriff's department for the county.
Huh. So, sounds like that just kind of history that's been left to rot for your family.
It's cool that your dad wanted to make it right.
Do some good for this town. It's a pretty cool move.
The projectionist unfolds himself to his full height, then hunches over, hovering a few inches above Derek's big shoulders. He puts one clawed hand on the boy's shoulder, and you can see Derek shiver. He lowers his head to the boy's ears and says in the distorted voice that you've heard screeching for the last few minutes, "You didn't kill me." Derek briefly has a look of extreme surprise on his face as he whips around again. "Kill who?"
You good, Dick?
The president of the ski club, Jasmine Santana, comes over. She's Latina, also in the same class, long brown hair in a ponytail, and she's wearing a light blue ski jumpsuit.
I've actually run into them a few times because we occasionally go out skate practicing in the same places.
"What are you screaming about, Derek?" she says. "I know you didn't kill anybody." He points over at you and Nathan, saying, "Those were the ones that your dad was suspecting. Not you."
Hi.
I didn't kill anyone.
We should probably talk to your dad sometime, huh?
As you chat with the members of the ski club, the projectionist, his head hung low, paces over to a nearby curb and sits down, beginning to pick the remains of the film out of his bones.
Silently, without making it obvious, I signal to Nathan that they should let me take over this conversation, I being a jock person talking with other jocks, and they should go and handle the projectionist.
Okay, out of character, I need you to get him to agree to hang out with us at some point.
You know, it's been a while since I've gone skiing, and honestly, I have a lot more free time these days without the stuff. You mind taking me down the slopes a couple times? I'd like to get to know you guys a bit more since I'm part of the new class. Something of a change up from all the hockey I'm doing, you know?
At the mention of skiing, Jasmine's face lights up. She goes, "Not, skiing's fun and all, but didn't I see you hanging out with those two girls from the Paranormal Society?"
Yeah, I've been hitting the occasional meeting. They're very nice.
I've been trying to work up the nerve to talk to them because I was hoping they would have something on the gold medal slings. You ever heard that the peak is haunted?
Yeah.
I have. And you know what? I'd be happy to introduce you sometime.
Every once in a while, I like to go up there and see if maybe I can spot the ghosts, but I haven't seen them yet. But if I could combine the skiing and the ghost hunting, that would be awesome.
So maybe sometime you could go teach me to ski up on a specific hill. I could bring some friends, and maybe you could show them the ropes, and we could see if we can't figure out where this ghosty is.
All right, and now going back to Nathan, who is talking to the projectionist.
Yeah. Quietly, sitting on the curb away from the snow.
I have very carefully guided the conversation away, you know.
All right, what are you gonna say?
You okay?
The projectionist takes a moment to change out the reels on his head with a new fresh reel from within his vest. He's able to splice together a much more pleasant and human sounding voice. "Not really," he says.
That's understandable. You look a little tired. I'm gonna use grave goods. I've got 2 points in it now. I don't know. Can I make a full pizza with that?
Value 2, you can probably get a pretty decent dinner out of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Value 2's actually pretty substantial. I think that's like... Gosh darn it. I'll look it up. Sorry.
Sorry, it's a total availability is equal to or less than her dots and grave goods, so I don't know what the availability
Alright.
chart is.
So give me a second here, because I do have availability.
Perfect.
So basically, that would be anything that you can acquire with resources 2 or below.
Okay, so like I grab a couple pizzas from the Aether and I don't know.
And you sit down with him.
Yeah. He's from the movie era. I get him a bottle of pop too.
Hell, you probably got some popcorn in there.
Yeah.
All right. The projectionist takes a slice of the pizza and jams it between the 2 reels of film, and then pours the soda over top of his head.
Yep. Kind of what I was expecting.
I don't know what I was expecting.
with the ghostly droplets of soda dropping off the projector. He cocks his lens over to look at you and says, I thought that killing his descendant would make us even, that I would feel better. I don't, I don't have it in me. He doesn't even know my name. I don't even know my name. But he certainly doesn't.
Emotions are weird. And revenge is even weirder. You can't ever really tell what's gonna fix it until you really stop and take a look at it. But we can help you get revenge on the person it actually would matter against. I promise.
The projectionist flicks the metal claws on his bony hands together and then stands up. Yes, I accept.
Why don't you come home with us for dinner? We're running a dumb supper tonight.
Yes, I accept. For now,
Sorry.
continue. Go ahead.
I, at this point, have worked my way away from the social conversation and am heading over to pick them up, since it looks like both of our conversations are winding down.
The projectionist tells you that you know where to find him and mentions that he has a show to get started before trudging off back towards the theater.
We'll pick him up after the last showing of the night, and
Hey, wait.
He turns around. The sunlight of the light of the setting sun hitting his lens. Yes,
Do you want to know your name?
he thinks about it for a moment and says no before turning back around and heading back towards the theater.
weirdly enough, I do in fact know that information, or at least I would in character.
Yep. Whew. All
Okay.
right.
All right. So,
How's everything going at the hospital?
we make a phone call.
So,
Ye-
Ethan,
Yes.
you've been keeping an eye on Susie's grandmother, correct?
Yeah, we've been chatting and I've been reassuring uh reassuring her and all that kind of stuff.
Susie's grandmother is distraught. She tells you, "Look, I I don't want Susie to live the life you're living. No offense. But I can only keep her heart running for so long. If she doesn't get her heart transplant soon, then I may not be around anymore to help. I'm dedicating so much of my strength to this. I can feel the call of the underworld."
Okay.
Bring.
Well,
Thank you, money
thank you.
game.
Thank you,
Thanks
Money
for the-
Games.
um, we'll 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 do what we can to help Susie. At the very least, we can take one threat off the board to them.
Okay, I would appreciate that. But she looks up. As much as I don't want Susie to live this half life that you and your friends have as sin eaters, the projectionist was right that it might not be the only way to actually save her. But if it comes down to it, I don't want another Geist to be the one to do this. If it comes down to that, I want you to keep your promise that the three of you made and take me down to the underworld. I want to drink from the rivers and see if I can be the one to save her. If it comes down to that.
So, look, my initial pushback against you going down there, it's more, I want you to be fully, I want you to fully understand what what can happen to you. Everything about who you currently are may be stripped away. We had a classmate who died at the same time that we did. And when she beelined to the river and drank, she came back not being able to speak, growling, feral. It has been to return her to a point that is a semblance of humanity has been significant effort. Are you willing not just to sacrifice your personality, not just your memories, but sacrifice the very thing that makes you human?
Susie's grandmother thinks for a moment and then says, well, on the other hand, your Geist meathead is very articulate.
Yeah, I want to, but I just want to make sure that you understand that loss of humanity is a risk. It is on the table of an outcome. And at that point, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'll let you go in. I'm just saying Meathead manifests beside you to help drive your point home.
When you drink from the river, you could decide that you could forget about her and not come back,
We would bring
or not even care anymore. When I say that everything that makes you you can be stripped away, I mean it.
Regardless.
Susie's grandmother bites her lip. Unfortunately, you currently aren't here, Ty.
Yep.
Susie's grandmother bites her lip and nods solemnly. But if her time runs out, if she doesn't get another heart and she dies, she gestures around and says, "What kind of afterlife would this be for her?" A ghost just hangs around without something to anchor me. Without Susie, she's the last anchor I have. I was cremated. I don't have a corpse. Without Susie, I'll definitely be dragged to the underworld, and she'll be a ghost here, stuck, until her essence becomes so weak that she gets dragged down with me. What else am I supposed to do?
Okay. That's, like I said, not trying to dissuade you, just wanting to make sure the magnitude of the decision was understood.
All right, and this would be the point where Nathan and Ty are able to get in contact.
Bring.
Oh, hey, look at that. I pick up my phone. Yep.
I don't know how to put this, but could you put me on speaker? Is there humans around?
Looks like Susie's still passed out, and the nurses are busy elsewhere.
So, hey there. Good news. The projectionist has decided on different plans for dealing with the problem I mentioned, and he is no longer interested in pursuing Susie. We are still interested in helping him, so I guess I wanted to talk to you, ma'am, before we brought it up to him. I know that you have not had a very good interaction with him. Are you cool with us talking to him about the crew?
Well, it's your crew, isn't it, young man? I am not
It's
a part.
It's our crew. You've been a part
I
of it.
I mean, she's not an official member.
Oh, she isn't?
No.
Oh.
I mean, she's had supper with us.
Sorry, she's been showing up to all the crew meetings, so I figured.
You keep inviting her, specifying specifically that you invite her.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm going to be real with you. It has been so long. I kind of assumed we had gotten her on board at some point. I excuse me. I need to rewind a little bit because my character would have known that. Could I try that again, boss?
Fair enough.
Ma'am, straightforward question. You've been here while the doctors are talking. How far is Susie down the list?
All right. Bear with me. Timed for me to make a chance roll. The closer to success it is, the further up the list she is.
She's been on it for a while, so I've got high hopes. Yes! 14!
10? Okay, so that's a really great roll.
This was the only roll of the night that mattered, everyone. This was what we were
She's
saving all that luck for.
She scratches her chin and says, "Well, to my knowledge, she's at the head of the list if a compatible heart could be found."
So, soon then.
Yes, but it would be a matter of whether a compatible heart could be found before she dies.
So, I guess I have to ask the most awkward question I can. Is there something that could happen that you couldn't fix the way you have been fixing her?
I have the ability to strengthen mortals who meet certain requirements. Specifically, young girls like her. I've been pouring my essence into her to make her stronger. And that's kept her alive and restarted her heart before she died. But even with you nice young folk feeding me to strengthen my essence, I don't think I could make it more than another 2 weeks.
So, even with all the essence we could provide you, that's just not something you can handle?
You've bought me an extra 2 months. That's wonderful. But I was already on my way out when you met me.
Well, I'd like to offer you a couple of other things. One, I'd be happy to start running a dinner here when you need them, and so you don't have to go away. It shouldn't be too hard to run something small for you. Two, I do stumble across the occasional bit of somebody save me, the word for ghost item.
Cast-offs.
I find the occasional cast off here and there, as do my partner, which I believe strengthen you and yours. I'd be happy to drop them off in the morning if that would help. If you were getting extra fuel, would that be able to carry you possibly to the end of the issue here?
It might buy me a few more days.
All right.
My essence is weak.
Fair enough.
I might have an idea. I chime in from the background because we're on speaker. It's going to take me a couple of days.
Well, I think I have less than 3 weeks. So within that time frame, I'm going to be dragged down into the underworld. And then the next time Susie's heart is too weak, I won't be around to help her.
Well, if nothing else, know that I'm always happy to come and get you. The thing is, we go to the underworld all the time.
But without an anchor.
You're looking at one.
What, are you going to sit here all day and anchor me?
Oh, no, I've just got a friend who I think knows how to make them.
That would solve the problem, she says. If I had another anchor, then that would make it more difficult for me to be dragged to the underworld. And it would mean that I could, even if Susie died, I wouldn't immediately be dragged down. I could see at least if my influence could revive her.
It would give us some options. I need to go get that information, though, and we've got a couple other things to try. But for now, we'll be stopping by to drop off grave goods and see what we can do to help. If she's next in line, I think she should have her grandmother there to celebrate with her.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course. Anyways, I I knock on my shoulder, and what's her name? Be Aggressive's head rises out. I reach in between her teeth, picking through around, and find something food like an edible from among there, placing it out on the table. I'm very sorry for where it came from, but I assure you it's fine.
You're on the phone.
Sorry, I forgot. I forgot I was on the phone. Never mind. That was funny. It was meant to be a joke. Anyways, so I say, well, you mind meeting us at Dee's place, man? I think we're all wrapped up here. If you're good at that end.
Yeah, yeah. I'll meet you there. I take a deep breath. Pat Granny Heartstopper on the shoulder. Walk over, arrange the flowers quickly in something decently presentable, and grab an Uber.
All right. About a 10-minute drive later, you're reunited in the town square.
We're head to Dee's. The house, presumably, because presumably it's been a little while. I had to literally run in from town, so I think time has
Can
passed.
we retcon one tiny thing?
What?
Tibbs, can you please bring my car?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Thanks. I don't want to have to walk back to the hospital to get it again.
By the way, I'm just going to say this. You gave us each a copy of your keys in case something like this happened, right?
You realize my piece of shit car will turn on the moment you touch metal to the ignition, right?
That works too, but you know what I mean.
We were shown the trick to start it.
Yeah.
And no one would want to steal this thing more than a quick joyride, half a block.
It's not a joy to ride. Anyways, so after that, we're gonna head over to Dee's house, picking up some water on the way.
All right. After being reunited, it's a fairly short drive. Since the store has closed for the evening at this point, you're able to find her and her granddaughter at home. When you knock on the door of their two-story house in the residential areas of town, Dee ushers the three of you inside.
Does she take down the words first?
I believe she adjusted them so we can come in as long as we mean no harm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't.
She ushers the three of you into her living room, where her granddaughter brings out some refreshments, tea, cookies, and soda.
Out of my backpack, I pull an entire bag with a piece of bread of oatmeal raisin cookies that my grandmother cooked when she heard we were going to Dee's today.
Dee takes the cookies and nods some thanks. Barbara is very much excited about getting some other cookies.
I imagine she has had everything available at that store so many times. So you asked us to fetch something for you, and we did. I present the jug of water. This is the scariest thing I have ever touched with my bare human hands. Bare sin eater hands. You know what I mean.
Dee takes the jug of water and puts on a pair of spectacles, as though she thinks that looking at it this way would bear some results. After a few moments, she seems satisfied, but picks up one of the cookies from the plate and drops a part of it into the jug. The cookie dissolves almost immediately as though it were in strong acid. You see the cast off it left behind likewise dissolve.
That's terrifying. Also, we have these for you. Nathan pulls out the small wax paper baggie of the remnants that were left on the beach and hands them to her.
We thought you might find them of interest since we
For
were down
use. Please note these are not the ones from the murderer. These were just the random ones that I picked up when I thought they were pretty.
She looks at the small pile of crystalline shapes and then looks back up. Fragments of identity torn loose from ghosts that dissolved in the ocean of fragments. The end of everything.
there. Yep.
And here's my contribution, and I put out the I pass over the sketch that I had made of the area, including the Leviathan and the
Hermit.
guy that the guy that visited us while we were there.
Barbara peers over to look at the drawing. Is that what the underworld looks like, Grandma? Parts of it, she said, pursing her lips. It hasn't changed in damn near 30 years. Not that I would expect it to.
Looks like it changes slowly from what I've seen. Like a fossil record.
The final beach is quite possibly the closest thing to a fossil that you could ever find in the underworld. At least a real one.
So,
You know what the sand there is, right? She says, jiggling the bag of identifiers that you gave her.
am I about to learn something even more awful about this? Great. Great. Ty visibly shudders. You know, I didn't used to be scared of stuff, and then I died, and I gotta tell you, being dead is pretty freaky. A lot of the time.
So, you brought back the water without falling in, which would have been a bonus. Grandma, says Barbara. Hush, Barbie, and let your grandma fight for you at least a little. Well, a deal's a deal, with the living or the dead. I said I'd tell you what I knew if you brought this. So, what do you want to know?
Everything.
I set the, I reach into my pocket and pull out the phone. I believe I gave you some documents last time that you said you'd go over. What do you know? What does it mean?
What I saw from what you gave me. Is first off, the original ceremony that this was crafted from was already something grotesque. A means to haul ghosts from the underworld into the mortal realm, trapped like rats in a cage, or lobster, since it looks like this man was going fishing.
We saw this described in a journal we have access to, but we haven't been able to find the individual who saw it. I pull out my phone and show the photocopied page on the phone. It seems to have been used for the devouring of ghosts.
Yes, the special ceremony used in the cuisine of the Eaters of the Dead. Everyone that does it differently. So I'm not surprised. But a lot of them do at least come up with fairly unique ceremonies to bring about their consumption. I knew of one Eater of the Dead that would trap the ghost in bricks of salt and then grind it down in order to season his food. Another that I knew of was a little more metaphorical in his way and his means of operation. He would steal the ghost's headstone from their grave and slowly use acid to wipe away the information on the tombstone. When the tombstone was bare, the ghost was subsumed into his body. All I know about this one from his cuisine is that he was a fisherman. But that's the base ritual. This ritual has been very crudely altered. Dangerously so, I might add, she says, giving her granddaughter the side eye. The original ritual worked by creating a lure via an artificial tableau. She waves her hands. I don't know if you know what they are, but the underworld generates these images from cultural memory, from stories, that draw the dead in.
The Hill of Sisyphus we saw.
Not all of them are susceptible. It comes down to the type of person a ghost was in life. You mentioned a Hill of Sisyphus. I haven't seen it, but I know the myth, pushing the boulder up to the top, and then it rolls down.
Mm-hmm.
For a ghost to be caught in that, I would imagine that they would need to be stubborn. Or too overly fastidious. Something about that image would call out to them and make them want to join it. A smaller synthetic tableau would draw in compatible ghosts in the same way. And then trigger the cage, which the fisherman could then draw up. In this newly altered ritual, it's been damn near turned upside down. The cage has been substituted for an anchor. And the tableau that served as a lure instead serves as a conduit. The physical anchor sinks within the earth of the underworld. The tableau locks it in place and draws power upward through the chain. from what I've read, it's attached to a winch that is also created from the same process. In the original ritual, the necromancer would be able to get an alarm and draw the cage back up the captive ghost. But whoever wrote this does not want to draw something back up. He wants to pull something down.
So he's trying to drag us to hell? Like the world?
Oh, he couldn't manage the world if he tried. What I've seen is that this whole setup replicates a right of the Reapers, an ability they have that requires at least 3 of their number that they call the Descent. 3 Reapers can draw down a small area of the mortal world into the underworld.
Oh, like the town. Down there, there was some real world down in Purgatory Junction.
She leans back. That's a bit of a story for another time, but I'm surprised to hear that you've seen it. Yes. A large number of Reapers once descended much of Whispering Peaks. It was the second time the town was wiped out.
Ty pumps his fist a little at having managed to learn something on his own. He's feeling very smart today.
They said that when this was completed, we wouldn't need to worry about death in Whispering Peaks. Is that because Whispering Peaks would all be in...
With enough of these workings, with enough tableaus, you would be able to do as the Reapers do and expand the area of his descent. One chain could pull down at most about a city block. 10 in the right configuration would have the power of 30 Reapers and would be enough to drag the entire town into the underworld.
Okay. Well,
People wouldn't have to worry about death anymore. When they died, they would simply get back up as a ghost.
So can I ask a handful of extremely stupid questions very quickly? I do apologize.
Yes.
I know where these winches are. Could I simply unwind them?
Too much power of the underworld is coursing through them. It would be like trying to do a keg stand full of water from the river Styx.
So snapping the cord would be like cutting a piano wire. All that energy goes out and probably cuts a couple heads off.
Well, first it would atomize you entirely. Then it would likely make a very large crater. Not a full city block, probably more like a couple 100 meters.
So, plan C then. We know where he's going to do these next. Is there any way we can make this not be able to function? Or do I just need to stop this guy?
Deanne Palmer gets off of her couch and grabs a cane. Her granddaughter fusses around her as she motions for the group of you to follow her. She takes you from the front room upstairs and into her lab. Barbara is looking around, eyes wide. Grandma, you never let me in here. For good reason, she says. Looking around, you see shelves upon shelves. Some of them are filled with books, others with various objects.
Hey, eidetic
Bits of
memory man.
Hmm?
Eidetic memory man, scan the shelves.
I am. I am.
Objects such as what appears to be a deer antler covered in carvings, a glass bottle that's green and shaking constantly, and several uh, bits and pieces of knickknacks here and there, dolls, ceramic unicorns, things like that, that call out to you in the anguished voice of ghosts. Her and her granddaughter do not seem able to hear them.
They're crying.
I think I read about this.
Who's crying, dearie? She says, turning around.
Everyone in the bottles.
Oh, I have picked up some haunted objects over the years. Things that were anchored to the dead for me to study, and other things that I believe your kind call mementos.
That would do it.
Those are.
You may not be used to it, but the essence of death is definitely upon all of them.
So
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tibbs. What
No.
were you saying?
No, good, good.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were some active ghosts among these, but I don't know. I can only study them to see what information I can gather.
I I start pointing to each one of them that I can tell has a voice coming from. Those are people.
Well, excellent. That's good to know, she says. Unfortunately, I haven't bound any of them in there. If there are bound ghosts stuck in there, that's not my doing.
fair enough. And it's not like
If you wish to try to let them out, be my guest.
We should probably do that outside, though, right?
We'll come back to that.
I feel like we have a lot of items for another meeting, but I'm very curious why we came up here. Sorry for interrupting.
This, she says. She pushes past all the shelves that you've been admiring and opens a curtain showing a room, an area of the lab that's been shut off, where she's spread a map of the town out over a massive table. Across the map, there is a thick layer of transparent blue ectoplasm. The ectoplasm in 3 areas of the map, the warehouse, the resort, and the Old Town Theater have formed a shape like a spire pointing upwards with a small circular dais on top, like the tableau, but upside down. So your killer that you've been following has been tethering the town to the underworld. I'm somewhat skilled with the powers of the underworld, so I've created this map in order to monitor what he's doing. As this ritual progresses, these spires erect themselves on the site of a new tableau. Now, dearies, where did you think that the next murder was likely to happen?
We have 2 possible sites.
I believe Ethan has the map, right?
Yeah. I point to each location that we have kind of figured out where the tableaus would be.
Yeah, 1, we would probably care a lot about this to have that shit memorized. 2, Ethan has eidetic memory.
Yeah.
Right. The 2 most likely sites are 1, Whispering Peaks High School.
God damn it.
2, Kimball's Big Box Store.
Do it.
Yep. And then so I point to those 2, like those are the ones that are most likely to be next, and then I go on to point to the remaining ones from there.
All right. All right, go ahead. I'm tripping over my own tongue again today. Sorry. As Ethan moves his fingers about on the jelly-like surface of the ectoplasm, he feels a ripple. Please roll 1 chance die, please.
Who knows?
Oh noes. Oh noes.
No me gusta mucho. 6.
As Ethan touches the area of the map that indicates the Kimballs, a tendril of ectoplasm bursts from the map upwards, surging past his hand and creating the small corresponding tower where a new 4th tableau has been erected.
I immediately call the I immediately reach out and call the squad, the crew.
We open the group chat and send the information immediately.
All right. Within a few.
Sorry, we gotta go.
Go ahead.
And I turn to leave.
Watch yourselves, shouts Deanne Palmer as you go. Whoever's doing this is quite insane.
Oh, we know who. Can someone help me with the name here? It's the fucking Undertaker.
It was Charles Rousseau.
Charles
Yes.
Rousseau.
The mortician.
The mortician.
Ex-mortician, though.
He's the one who's been doing this. The only reason I haven't gone and killed him yet is because I saw him crumple bare metal with his hands. Next time we talk, can you help me get stronger or find a way to fight him? I'll do whatever you need.
I'm certain we can find something if he's abusing the power of the dead.
Thank you. I bow deeply enough to be embarrassing. I am clearly just overwhelmed at the possibility of finding something I can do at this point. And then I scurry off after everyone. I catch up in moments. I am way faster than y'all.
Okay.
Sorry.
While they're all busy with D, I turn to Barbara. And I ask her, do you have anything for protection that I can have? That I can borrow?
Make a presence or manipulation plus persuasion at a -3.
Two successes. I say, I trust you.
All right, give me just a moment.
Very well. Okay. Also,
She takes off her locket that she has and hands it over to you.
Are you sure?
It's fine, she says. I think you need it more than I do right now.
I'll give it back to you.
All right, and it has been added to the equipment chat.
once we're outside, or at least not immediately there, I'll I turn to Nathan. I need you to prepare prom queen.
Yeah.
So, I would like to talk about a thing I would like to do. Real quick, Kenny. Because I had a talk with the family here, and I meant to bring it up to you in advance. But you mentioned last time that we could, because we made the pilgrimage, we were allowed to have a
Regalia.
And the regalia I had in mind was the one that allows one to raise one's rank by 1. And the thing I had was something that we're kind of treating like a magic tome or Bible, but basically it's last year's yearbook with the faces of each person who died in the incident I'd in, crossed out with a description of their death written over it. Stapled to the last pages are news reports on the deaths of the other 2 people who were slain by this killer, with their faces likewise altered and descriptions added. Carried as a holy tome, this empowers the person who wields it.
All right, that makes sense to me.
I don't think we had a really clever name for it yet, but I thought this was the case notes. Does that work for you guys still? I think we had been kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I would like you to take up the regalia. Congratulations on your Geist being even scarier now. Because I believe that moves you up into the Chthonians at that point. Basically.
I think so, yeah.
So,
Whose Geist is the highest rank?
and also it's going to be the one that's being let free.
Sure. Okay, so you guys are heading towards the Kimballs then, correct?
Oh yeah. At
There's
speed.
there's a good chance that prom queen may accidentally unleash.
We're actually pretty high up in synergy, so it shouldn't happen
It
accidentally.
uh her
It's a much
younger
lower chance, I believe.
her younger brother was the last who has been working
Yeah,
there.
but Lex
I
has the right
know.
to throw dice at it, and they have a lot
Okay.
of dice for that.
Okay. Sorry.
And if not, they at least get to choose how Prom Queen reacts about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Never mind then. Let's see how this goes.
So a few minutes before you make the turn into the Kimball's parking lot, you get a call from Lucerne. Uh, she tells you that she hasn't called the cops yet, uh, and no one else seems to be here right now. But she's got good news and she's got bad news.
That's the good news.
The the victim for the tableau doesn't appear to have been the prom queen's brother.
Okay.
Is Todd Kimball dead?
No.
What's
She
the
says it
bad
looks
news?
like a guy from Cotton Security.
Good. Fuck them.
Oh God. Oh God.
The bad news is that uh, it's not just one victim this time, and not just a mortal one.
Oh.
Screamer.
Who's dead?
Who's double dead?
All right. You guys park, and she hangs up since you're here. Um, you see, you see the tableau uh, set set up in the parking lot. This one, uh, excuse me. This one, uh, is pretty simplistic. Uh, the figure of one of the grunts on the one of the grunts boots on the ground from Cotton Security has been arranged around a scythe that he's holding up. The blade has been removed, and a facsimile that seems to be made of cheap plastic is there. Uh, and it's turned towards the store. Um, in the parking lot around it, there's been painted like what looks like a stream of people that he would be observing in between the parking lot and the store, with the small handmade wooden plaque stating death and life. That's not what's the most interesting to you guys at the moment. What's most interesting to you guys is the ring of ghosts and one lucerne with Gus very nearby. At the center of the ring of ghosts, you see the charred face and neck of old John Walker. About half of his face is remaining. You can see large human teeth marks having bit into and eaten the ghost away to almost nothing. He pulls breath. He attempts to pull breath through what's remaining of his mouth, where Gus kneels beside of him, trying to channel some of his essence into what remains.
God damn it. God.
Can we pour? Do you have grave goods still today?
I opened the boneyard. If
He might still be here.
not only that, but if he can possess something, wouldn't that help stabilize him a bit?
He could sink into an anchor, one of us, and shit, it doesn't work. We're immune to possession. That's one of the things that's categorically true.
But everything around me has the open condition. Literally anything we're carrying, he could possess.
Yes. Yes. Okay. We don't need the boneyard. We just need something. He's Johnny Walker. We are outside of a big box store. I find a fucking booze bottle in the trash and I run it over.
I'm gonna say that that's fine. Yeah, you find someone's discarded half-drunk beer, running it over in the car produces a cast-off.
Get something in you. Get anything in you. Come on, man. We got you. We just need you to survive.
You can see the ectoplasm at the edges of his face slowly burning away. Only about half of the face and neck is remaining. The cast-off booze does seem to slow it briefly. He opens the remaining eye and looks around at the Sin Eaters, assembled. He gasps, I got some information about a death that was likely to occur from Grinning Sam, so that I could bind myself. If I'm bound, like that Chloe girl was, I thought, well, she used to come up to my cabin. I could keep a watch, you know? Why not? I haven't done anything in almost a century.
Do you want to be a Geist?
Me, Sin Eater.
Do you want to be a Sin Eater?
He splutters and says, I did. Little late for that, but you need to know. When I was here, just like Grinning Sam predicted, the guy in the gas mask and the raincoat, he saw me. He turned around and said, not again. I'm not losing another tableau. Not like the first one. I'm not letting another Geist fuck it up. And then he grabbed me. He knows you're out here.
Listen. I can try and keep you alive for a little longer. Do you have an anchor anywhere? If you sink into your anchor, you can survive this. I can get you
My
there.
cabin.
All right.
Attached. I pull something out of my bag. A pen. I don't even care. It has the open condition. Can you grab onto this?
Sure. The burnt flesh of what remains of John Walker's face uh, crawls towards the pen, disintegrates into gaseous ectoplasm, and uh, takes root in the pen.
We gotta drive to the cabin now.
Who's got? You're the only one I think who has drive.
Yeah.
Um,
And especially getting away, so.
so we need to get there. I am going to destroy everything I can in my bag to provide us as much time as possible. I have big meaty mitts. I can break stuff.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have a lot of time left, so let's put this down to a single roll. Give me dexterity plus drive -5.
-5?
-5.
Okay. Plus
Feeding
willpower.
this fading ghost as much essence as he can possibly eat is barely giving him any additional time.
Okay, guys. I need a decision. This brings me down to a chance die. Do I use my willpower to have 4, or do I save my willpower to reroll?
Who is here in our crew? And what is Lucerne's driving role?
Yeah.
That's a good point. Lucerne is here. Just Lucerne and Gus.
Okay.
Let's
I don't think Gus's
see.
driving roll is going to be great.
I could be surprised.
Lucerne.
Lucerne does not have any points in drive.
All right, so straightforward question. I believe that it is reasonable that in a case where somebody couldn't literally assist with driving, that they could theoretically assist by observing things, holding the map, or some other way. Would you allow me to roll
that
a
makes
different skill to help with that?
Yeah, I'll let the two of you roll anything that you can justify.
All right. Tibbs, what's your academics or investigation or something along those lines? Do you have any of those at a decent number?
Sorry.
I mean, my academics is a 3.
So what's
that's-
your int plus academics or wits plus academics?
Int and ac is gonna give me an 8.
I think
So
that's a
that's-
really good representation of a role for navigation.
Yeah, I'll allow that. So you can roll that at the same -5.
So it's gonna give me a 3.
It's better than a 1.
Yeah.
This is what willpower is for. It's the same thing, except you're getting all the dice at once and might get a better result.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna roll to assist.
So okay. This is a little bullshit, but I'm going to try and yell wits plus medicine to try and keep this thing alive for a little bit longer.
Do you have a cult?
I do.
Yeah, but you're already doing something a lot more useful than I can, because I'm swinging a 5 on my wits plus academics. I was trying.
Okay, I'll allow the wits plus medicine. -5.
2 dice is 2 dice. I will take my 2 dice.
Use your willpower.
That is with willpower. That's 2
Oh,
dice. I can't help. Sorry, guys. I tried.
That's okay.
Wrong channel.
Whoops. Don't mind me.
Can he roll again in the correct channel?
You know what? I'll allow it.
Sorry, I genuinely just did a misclick.
Wow. Okay. Medicine does
That's
not work on ghosts. Got it. Okay, so am I rolling 2 and saving my willpower, or
well, you're waiting until Tibbs has made his roll.
I did.
he already did?
Oh,
yeah, he got a 1.
Yeah.
gotcha.
1 on 3 dice isn't bad
That's
actually.
pretty good. Yeah.
So, do you want to roll 2 dice potentially twice, or do you want to roll 5 dice once?
I think 5 dice once is our better chance, right?
Is simply rolling more dice. And maybe somebody out there in internet land will call pity on us.
All right, everyone, cross your fingers. Jeff. Kenny, you too.
No.
Fine. Just- Whew. 2 successes.
All right. 2 successes. You're able to bring old John Walker to his cabin up on the ridge at the resort. As you drove past, you see the cop cars going the other way. Looks like Lucerne finally made her call to the cops.
By the way, I would have thought of this beforehand. May I have said something?
What?
Can I ask Lucerne to have taken photographs before they make the phone call?
That makes sense, yeah.
I think it's a thing Lucerne probably already did. But, you know. Sorry, we had a time-sensitive matter.
You arrive while you can feel the essence in the pen growing especially weak. It hasn't faded away yet. The cabin is, just as before, a complete and total wreck. At least the physical cabin. The cast-off cabin that overlaps with it is still there, and still the same as the day that you had been here previously.
I text Chloe and let her know.
All right, and what do you do now?
We get him inside and see if we can't help him settle back into his anchor, for the lack of a better word.
All right, if you want to help him with this, I'm going to need some sort of occult rolls.
On it.
Thank God.
I have a 0 on my best roll, so.
Um,
I don't know
Yeah.
if wit's willpower can get me out of 0.
No, it cannot, I don't believe. So I'll take anything that you can justify that's an occult roll, but it will be at a -2.
okay. So, intelligence plus occult.
Sure, that works.
Penalty 2. Okay. Okay. 1 success.
Luckily, 1 success is...
That is an success. Success.
Kenny, how much do memories help healing ghosts?
They don't.
Oh.
I think we're coming up here to do a dumb supper afterwards. Once he's had a little time to recover.
Let's see. Give me just a sec.
Have
Alrighty. So, you got a success. You're able to coax the Geist out of the pen, and with the right chance, you're able to prepare an area of the physical cabin that anchors him for him to hibernate in. He dissolves into ectoplasm and sinks into the anchor. He hasn't been drawn into the underworld, but he's going to be out of it until he recovers enough essence to manifest again.
Okay.
And this leaves behind 5 plasm that you can consume. So I think we'll end here.
Holy crap.
Okay, everybody, let's go over aspirations. Who wants to go first?
I will. Whew, holy fuck. Okay. Get to know Josie. I've just fucking straight up talked to her today. And B, I tailed her little brother today, or well, a couple days ago.
I'll allow it.
Drill the hole. I think that we definitely got a step towards that with learning all this shit from D. Grow the crew. I think we definitely took a step towards that.
Yeah, you might be getting 2 more ghosts.
Yeah. Save Susie. I think we did that. I think that's just stepping clear. Step. I think it's a step.
Yeah, because she's still dying.
Yeah, that's fair. And make a new friend. I think I took a step towards that.
Yeah.
That's me.
All right.
Okay. So, I don't believe I did anything with the speed run unless speed running to a burned down cabin counts.
You got the sponsorship.
Oh yeah, I got the sponsorship. Okay, so there's that. Improve my rig slash get new equipment. I got a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Gain clout amongst the chosen mammon.
I got a sponsorship.
I got a sponsorship. I got the I forgot his title. The
Pastor.
boss. I got
Pastor.
the pastor to agree with me.
And throw something at the deacon's head.
And throw something at the deacon's head.
A stapler, no less. That is not a small thing to have thrown at your head.
Speaking of which, fuck over Kimball. We just went over this.
He's like triple fucked now.
Yeah, a giant
then-
murder happened on his property before it opened, really.
And then lastly, we have help Susie's grandma, which definitely took a big step towards completing that.
Yep.
That's me.
Get scouted for college hockey. I just coached a winning game, one of the bigger games of our season. One, that's probably got the troops in a pretty good manner, and 2, if there was going to be a game that someone was going to show up to watch the junior varsity kids for, this would be the one.
Yeah.
So
True.
I might have been seen tonight helping out with the coaching.
Very true.
1, find a way to put the Undertaker underground. D has offered to help me grow in strength and power.
True.
I think I'm going to change that to no mortician to fit the proper joke, but, we'll work on it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Have our crews back. I was operating at the time I wrote that, believing that a member of our crew had requested our help. But that was what I meant.
I get what you mean. And hey, you probably are doing working towards recruiting her pretty well, considering the only reason she hasn't joined your crew officially in the first place, she's got to spend so much time keeping her granddaughter alive.
Bingo. Win the big game. We did! Figure out what the ritual is doing. We did.
Yeah, that was unpleasant.
Right? That it?
Yep.
All right. All three of you? I was about
Yeah.
to say who's next.
Yep.
That's all three of us.
All right. Then it is all three of you. Well, that means we're done for tonight. Well, thank you everybody for coming out and joining us this evening for the 16th episode. We'll be back for in 2 weeks with episode 17. Thanks to the folks who sent us bits and for the new follower too. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Bye.